wonderful Friday afternoon. The weekend is upon us. I'm so glad because I am very under the weather and I could use a break. I don't know about you guys, but this whole like spring transition thing is hitting me pretty hard. So, hi Laurie. Laurie is always first. Always first. It's so funny. Laurie is first in my other places where I do lives as well. I love it. Hi Bonnie, and Bonnie is always a very close second. So welcome in to both of you. I'm glad that you're here. Eric's here and Michelle is here, going to take care of us in the comments section and chat with us while we are getting on with our Friday afternoon. Got a lot of really fun things to show you in the show today. We're going to be talking about stringing today, and we're going to be talking about your essentials for that. I have some really cool products in today's show that are grouped together. I love it when I have like a bundle of things. Bundles are always exciting. There's tools, there's findings, there's some wire, all in little bundles that are going to be really fun for you to stock up on. I've got some beautiful beads for you guys to look at, and then we're gonna do something, because I feel like the last few times you guys have seen me, it's always been like a clearance show or a personal shopper show. We haven't done a project in a while, so we're going to do a little bit design on the fly. I don't know how much of a full project that we're going to get done, but we are going to break down the basics of crimping. We are going to take a look at this bead stringing wire versus some of these really beautiful beads that I have in the show today. So it's going to be a fun one. Who is ready? All right. Janet's here. Nicole is here. Gina's here. Everybody's making their way in. Hey, Hannah, how are you? I hope you're having a great one. Hazel's in the house as well. So we're going to go ahead and get you guys turned around, and I'm going to show you some really beautiful beads. It's always good to get started with beads, right? Beads are always a good idea. So I have 3 designer blends for you guys in today's show. A little sneaky peek at some of these up here at the top, but I'm going to bring in this one. This one is one that you guys always go crazy over. This is one that we actually had taken to Shop LC with us, and a lot of people have asked me about it since then. This is Retro Southwest. Absolutely beautiful bead mix here. I love all of the colors in this one. There is the beautiful silver, then this like carnelian red orange, and then all of your turquoisey blue green colors in here as well. So really, really beautiful. Lots of different shapes and sizes in here. Love this one. So I was really excited to add this one to the show. And listen, if you didn't know, we are celebrating Cinco de Mayo on artbeads.com right now with 20% off store-wide. So this awesome Retro Southwest mix is normally at $18.99, but during our Cinco de Mayo 20% off, it's $15.19. So that's a steal, you guys. That's a steal. You definitely want to take advantage of the 20% off that's going on. And that applies to not just these gorgeous beads that are in the show, but everything that is in the show today. So if you're curious about prices, and if I don't tell you what it is and you want to know what that 20% off looks like on something, just let me know. So I'm more than happy to get that for you. So if you are just now joining us, or if this is your first time joining us here at artbeads.com, I want you to know how easy it is to shop while you're looking at things like these gorgeous beads. You're going to notice on the side of your screen there's a little shopping bag. You can click on that shopping bag at any point during today's show, and it's going to bring up the items in the show. So not just the beads that you see right now, but everything in the show, including the tools and the wire and everything in between. It's going to bring up all of those items so that you can click on those and you can add those to your shopping cart, as well as check out all while you're still watching the show. If you happen to be joining us from Facebook, you're going to notice in the top of your screen there's a little text bar. You're going to type in the item codes for each one of the items, and you will get a link sent directly to you so that you can shop that way. So we make it easy, no matter how you are joining us, to shop. However, if you're joining us from Facebook, we can't see your comments. So if you'd like to be part of the party and come hang out in our comment section, we really would like to encourage you to come over to artbeads.com and watch that way. But you can still shop regardless of how you are joining us. So we're glad that you're here no matter where you're coming from. And I've got lots of beady goodness for you today. So as we are starting out with this beautiful Retro Southwest mix, these little melon beads, it's like a melon ronde. It's like a pumpkin, a little pumpkin bead. I love those so much. There are check fire polish in here, as well as drucks in both this teal green or turquoisey green color and the silver. Really, really beautiful mix. I thought this one was awesome, and it's going to look really nice with the wire that I have in today's show. Let's look at two more, and then we're going to talk about wire, and we're going to talk about tools and everything else. All right, now a little bit smaller of a mix here. I thought this one was really fun. This is the Golden Treasure Designer Blend. I thought this was a really awesome one. When you see the wire, you're going to know why it is that I picked this one, but look at these beads. They look like something that you would find in a treasure chest. They're so cool. So there are some little seed beads in here, as well as some drucks, and then all of these like irregular shaped check glass that have that really cool kind of gold to them. They look like stones. I think they are super, super cool. And with that 20% off, this one is regularly $6.59, but right now it is $5.27. And we're going to string up some of these gorgeous beads on some of this really awesome wire that's in the show here in just a little bit. So don't forget about this one. Don't forget about this one. This one is a super cool. Now, my favorite mix that I have in the show today is this one. This is the Victorian Garden. And this one was priced the same as the other one that I showed you, the Retro Southwest. It's originally $18.99, but it's $15.19 while we have the Cinco de Mayo special going on. Absolutely gorgeous mix of bronze and pinks and greens. So pretty. Also gonna look really beautiful with the wire that we have in today's show. So you don't want to miss out on all of the nice pairings that I have for you. This one's got some check fire polish in it. There are some drop beads, some drucks. There are some little cathedral beads in this one as well. And then all of these really cool larger focals that are awesome. I adore this one. I think this is the prettiest one that I have in the show. I love all three of them, but I'm really, really drawn to this one. So just so that you guys know, if you're not familiar with our designer blends, these are all created by our design team. These were hand selected and put together in the warehouse, and are in limited supply. So once these are gone, they're gone for good. So you don't want to sleep on these. You don't want to miss out on your opportunity, particularly when we have things like 20% off going on, because sometimes they will sell out before you have an opportunity to close your cart. So definitely take advantage. All right, now we will be coming back to these beads again. So this won't be the last time that you see these, but if you need a little reminder, always click on that shopping bag to bring things up for you. All right, so I've been teasing you guys about wire, and I have a really awesome wire bundle. For those of you who know, this like beautiful mocha color is our Pantone color of the year. It's like mocha mousse, I think is what it's called. And I put together, with the help of our friend Meredith at Bead, I put together this really cool bead bundle for art beads, where we were using wire that is in that same beautiful color of the year. So we have some gorgeous bead stringing wire and some artistic wire all in the same bundle. So everything you see here, you're going to get in the same little bundle. You don't have to buy these individually. This is a great way to stock up. So what I have for you is I have artistic wire in two different sizes, and these are the two most popular sizes that people really grab for the most. We have the 22 gauge, which if you've been with me for a while, you know this is my go-to size, and then we have the 20, which is the other go-to. For some people are both, but a lot of people are one or the other, but find uses for both of them. So I wanted to be sure that we included these most popular sizes in this beautiful brown color. So this is actually antique brass, or officially it's antique brass, but let's be honest, it's mocha. It's mocha. It's the color of the year. And if that is not enough, then we have bead stringing wire. So it's a cool bundle because you're getting both. You're getting artistic wire and your bead stringing wire. So we've got bead stringing wire in both 7, 19, and 49 strand in the same beautiful color. Now, why does it matter? Why do you want your bead stringing wire to have that color? Because sometimes you can do exposed wire jewelry projects where the wire shows, and it makes it just really, really beautiful. Everything kind of combines together. So you can create some artistic wire pendants or components and little focals out of the wire, and then you can string it all up with this beautiful bead stringing wire in whichever one you prefer, the 49, 19, or the 7, because you're getting a little bit of all of them, so you can really kind of test them out and get a good feel for them with your projects, and they're all going to be beautiful. Now, if you don't believe me, let me show you. So make some room here. You don't believe that these go together. Look, 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 look. Is that not perfect? Absolutely beautiful combination. I think it's gorgeous. Denise says, I'm always down to brown. Always. Okay, so in my head, she said, I'm always down for brown. What she really said was, I'm always drawn to browns. Guys, listen, I am sick, so I apologize. So if you've already had to deal with my crazy today. So, yeah, she's always down for brown. No, she's drawn to browns is what she said. She was definitely more articulate than I was. So pretty. But then you can see this brown, this beautiful mocha color. It's going to work really well with this one as well. And would I mix the metals together? You bet you I would. This beautiful silver color with these browns, yes, absolutely would mix those together. So, so pretty. Love that. And then last but not least, bringing in this one. It was just perfect. It was perfect. So I tried to go through our designer blends and pick out the ones that I thought were the most pretty to go with the wire. But I got to tell you, there are tons of other designer blends that are available on artbeads.com that will also work with these beautiful wires as well. So take advantage because 20% off store wide. So even if you don't see it in today's show, it's still going to have 20% off on it. So all right, so some beautiful beads we're going to be using for our project, but that's not all we need when it comes to creating our projects, right? When it comes to stringing in particular, you're going to need some tools for that. You're going to need some tools. And so I have a really cool tool kit for you guys that has not just one crimper, but 3 crimpers and a cutter tool. I'm going to have to raise you up a little bit so you guys can see this one. All right, now I've had this in previous shows, but I wanted to bring it back to this one because what a perfect addition to a show where we've got lots of wire and beautiful beads, and we're going to need some tools here. And I also found the black mat, though please forgive the cat hair that is on it because does have a tendency to just kind of stick to everything. So the pliers kit here is, I think it's kind of funny that it is listed as a pliers kit. They are in fact pliers, they're crimping pliers, but don't be confused. These are crimper tools and we have the 3 different sizes. I'm going to talk about those in a second, but I want to start out by saying we've got a little cutter included with this. So it's really, really handy. You go to grab this, get your crimpers, and you're ready to be stringing. The fact that this has a little cutter tool that goes with it is really, really nice. So you can cut your bead stringing wire. So I'll be using this guy here in just a little bit. But in addition to the cutter, we have the 3 different size crimpers. And if you missed my show where we talked about these before, I'm going to give you the quick version, the little rundown of why you need 3 different sets and why it's cool to grab them all at once. So each one of your crimping pliers is going to handle different size crimping beads and crimping tubes. The standard is the one that I use the most. This is the one that I pretty much always have. First, before we get into that though, can we just look at how pretty the sparkle on those? Love that. These are the glimmer handles. They're latex free, so you don't have to worry about your allergies or anything like that. They're just really, really nice. But the standard crimper tool, this is the one that I use the most, as I mentioned. This one is going to take care of your size 1 and 2 crimp beads and your number 2 crimp tubes. Now that's really important because when you are pairing your wire with your crimps, you also need to pair those with the correct tool as well so that you are going to have the best crimp possible. And it takes a combination of all the things. So again, this one's going to work with your number 1 and number 2 crimp beads and your number 2 crimp tubes, most common used. All right, then we have the micro crimper tool. The micro crimper tool, when you look at it, look at how tiny, so small the little jaws on this one are, the little stations for your crimps. This one is going to take care of your size 0. And if you ask Wanda, she says those are invisible. They don't really exist. They're like the number 15 seed beads. They're not real. But they actually are. A size 0 crimp bead or a number 1 crimp tube. So if you're using finer bead stringing wire that is a finer diameter, you're going to need a tinier crimp bead or crimp tube. This is the tool that you're going to need because the jaw on this one is going to be too big to close those teeny tiny microscopic crimps. So That's why you would need the micro crimper, and it comes in this set, so you don't have to go looking for it. You've got it on the board with your cutter and all of your others. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum here, where we have the micro, now we have the mighty, and the mighty has the biggest little stations of all. As you can see, this one is really big. This one is going to accommodate your number 3 and number 4 crimp tubes and your number 3 beads. Okay, so this one is going to definitely work for your larger. And also, little bonus to this one, the front station of this one, the one that is shaped like an oval here in the front, is a great tool to help you close crimp covers over your crimp beads. So if you are always like marking those up with your pliers, using this tool instead of your pliers is really, really nice. So the fact that you can get all of these all together is really awesome. Plus the fact that right now they are 20% off, which makes it even cooler. You can grab all of these up. This set is regularly $38.99, and right now with the 20% off, it's $31.19, which is an absolute steal. Add this one to your cart because it is so nice to, number one, have a brand new crimper tool. It's one of those tools that like you don't know that you need a new one until you have a new one and you're like, wow, how was I even using my crimper tool to start with? A lot of times mine, after I use them for so long, they won't meet up anymore. They get little spaces in between them. And so my crimps are always just a little off, but having a brand new set really makes a difference. So if you're going to grab some of the other things in today's show, don't miss out on this opportunity to grab all 4 of these. I love the cutter with this. All right, so we've talked about beads, we talked about wire, we have talked about the tools. Now, one last thing that you might consider adding to your cart is going to be findings. And I have a wonderful little bundle of findings for you guys. This is the assorted findings variety packs, and it's not just one, it's all 4 of these in one bundle, which is really, really cool. So let's take a look at the little packs. Actually, I'm going to open this one up. So this one is antique brass color. This is going to match probably the best with the wire that we're going to be using today. But these little findings packs, they have a little bit of everything in them. They have 2 different kinds of clasps. So there are the lobster clasps and the spring rings, and then there are some jump rings in here, as well as the little clasp tags for your clasps. There's 112 pieces total per container, but you're getting all 4 of these, all 4 in all the different metals. I am going to open this one though. I love these little packs because they're super convenient to keep everything in, and you just open it up, grab what you need. There were some extra jump rings that are hidden behind the Beadalon logo in the packaging, so you can see is an assortment of different sizes of seed beads here. These are so handy. Close it up, toss it off to the side, right? So there's the antique brass, there's the silver. I'll just open all of them. Let's not play around. It gets the glare off of them for sure. So there's the silver, right? Super pretty. Then there is the rose gold, which is also gorgeous. Love the rose gold. Also looks really beautiful with the brown. I know most people might not put those together, but I do. I think it looks great with the brown. So this and this. Oh yeah, I'm feeling all that. All right. And then last but not least, we have this hematite color, which is a really nice too. Uh-oh, I don't know if I can get this one open. There we go. So it's all 4 of these. You don't have to buy these individually. We've got them bundled for you. All 4 of these. You can stock up on them. They are regularly $36.55 for all of them, and right now they're $29.24. There's the hematite color. This is going to work really well with your blacks and your silvers. It also is a really nice contrast to gold. So if you want to mix your metals together, these are awesome. Hi, Katie. I'm so glad you're here. So there you go, guys. Awesome little pack. So I've got to, oh, well, maybe I haven't covered all your bases, but I have tried to cover all of your bases. So we have the wire bundle that has your 2 artistic wires, so you can make your own findings components, wire doodads, you can make your own little beaded chains out of these, and then you have your 7 strand, 19 strand, and your 49 strand. So this little bundle is perfect, right? And then I bundled together, or we bundled, I shouldn't say I, but we bundled together the Findings Variety Pack, so you can get all of the metal colors all together. And then we have the pliers set with all the pliers. So really trying to take care of all of your stringing needs and trying to make sure that you have everything that you need going into some of your projects. Now, like I said, it's not going to cover all of your bases, but it's pretty darn close, and it's nice to have everything all in one place. Okay, so now let's play a little bit, right? I mean, what's the point of all of this if we're not actually going to do something with it? In the beginning, I talked about some of these really cool exposed bead stringing wire projects where the color of your bead stringing wire comes into the actual design. I thought these beads would be a really nice way to kind of show that off. So I have grabbed out of the bundle some of the 19 strand, and I'm going to string on some of these beads, and we're going to let the bead stringing wire be part of the design. So I'm going to take the little clip off. Meredith's here. Hello, Meredith. All right, so taking the bead stringing wire off, and let's just thread on some of these beautiful beads. So I'm going to take the big ones out of my container was a little small for this little designer blend, but I'll take some of the larger beads out so we can see the different sizes here. And now we can really see those beautiful lined seed beads that are part of this, and then the druck beads. So what we're going to do is we are going to just thread on a few. Like I said, we're kind of designing on the fly here. I don't have a real design laid out in advance, but I think that's going to be just fine because no matter what we do, it's going to be gorgeous with these beads. So I'm going to thread on a crimp bead. I'm going to thread on a druck. Okay. Then I'm going to thread on another crimp. I'm sorry, not a crimp, a seed bead. I'm not threading on crimps right now. Seed beads. Y'all, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm sick, so I'm not 100% with it today. I apologize. All right, now I'm going to thread on one of the larger beads. Okay. I'm going to thread on another seed bead. I'm going to do a druck and another seed bead. And honestly, I could just stop right here if I wanted to. I could just let this be the entire design, but I am going to add a few more beads to this, a couple more of the larger beads. So I'm going to do this guy, seed bead, and then another druck bead, another seed bead, and then one more of those large beads. And then I'm going to let that be it. Well, I'm going to finish this off, you know, with the seed beads and the, but as far as like our large focals are concerned, this is all I'm going to do. And I'm going to let this bead stringing wire be part of this design. So I'm going to thread on seed bead, druck, seed bead. All right. Now, there's a couple of options here. So I could, if I wanted to keep these beads centered in my design, I could thread on some crimps on either side of these beads and set those beads in place so that they don't move around on the bead stringing wire. or you can keep them loose, and it's completely up to you. It doesn't matter. It's really just kind of how you want to do this. But I'm going to leave mine. I'm going to leave mine just kind of hanging out there because I love movement in jewelry. Using my cutter from the pliers set, right? Okay, now I am letting this bead stringing wire be part of the design, right? I've got this beautiful brown colored wire. There's no reason to not every once in a while in your designs let those wires be exposed. Now, if you covered it up, it's fine. It's fine. You're still going to see a little whisper of it around your findings when you go to crimp, but it can be part of what you are doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this one off. I love this one. I love this question, and I see Michelle has jumped in because I was busy doing other things. But could you mention how to decide, Maria says, could you mention how to decide which wire to use in a project? And Michelle, loving Michelle, she's always taking care of us. Eric yoded me. Okay, well, he's going to have to wait a second because Michelle yoded me first. Actually, Michelle didn't yo me at all, but I just happened to look up. Michelle says, great question. It depends on the project. If it's a wire wrapping versus simple stringing, I would use the 49 strand for simple stringing projects. And she is 100% correct. So when it comes to determining between your artistic wire and your bead stringing wire, your artistic wire obviously has more structure to it. This is great for wire wrapping, creating wire wrapped loops and simple loops and things like that, bangles and other components. And you're stringing any of your bead stringing wire is going to be great for that. Now, when it comes to the bead stringing wire, I don't know if this is the what your question was referencing. But there is a difference between your 7, your 19, and your 49 strand. So we can talk about that really quickly before we add the findings to the back of our necklace here. So each one of your bead stringing wire packages is going to have a lot of information on it, but one of the things that it's going to tell you is whether it is a 7, 19, or 49 strand. And what that means, using the 7 strand as our example here, is it is 7 strands of stainless steel, very fine stainless steel wire that has been twisted together. So 7 of those strands twisted together and then coated in a nylon coating. That's what holds it all together, right? That's what keeps all of those strands together. Your 7 strand is 7 of those, and that means that the 19 is 19 of those, and your 49 is 49 of those. So you can see the picture, you can see how those are all bundled together there, and they have that coating on them to keep them all together. The more wires, so the larger the number, the 49 strand, the softer, more supple the wire is going to be. Your 49 strand is going to be great for your stringing projects because it is going to have a very fluid kind of feel to it, has gorgeous, excellent drape to it. Your 19 strand is going to be kind of in the middle of the road between your 7 and your 49. This is a great kind of all around bead stringing wire that you can use for your stringing projects that you might need a little bit more structure to, but you still want the drape. It's going to look beautiful. Now, your 7 strand has more structure than the other 2 altogether. This is a really strong, structured wire that is going to retain a lot of the shape to it. So the 7 strand is the one that I kind of gravitate towards when I'm creating exposed designs like this, where I'm using the wire for earrings, or if the wire isn't exposed, but I want that shape, right? Either that teardrop shape or that round shape, and I'm using this as my core wire for that. Or if I am creating a pendant out of bead stringing wire, again, this has the structure that I want. It doesn't have the drape. It most definitely is way different than the 49 strand, but it doesn't have quite the drape that the 19 strand has either. Now, all of these, if you were to purchase these individually, are going to be at different price points, right? But the price points individually does not necessarily indicate beginner, intermediate, or expert. That's not what those prices stand for. It really is just kind of about what it's actually made out of, right? Because this one's only 7 of the strands. This one's 19, this one's 49. So you're buying those individual strands. But fortunately for you, you don't even have to think about that because we bundled all of them together. So now you have an opportunity to make all kinds of projects and just pick which one you need depending on the structure of the wire. So just keep all of that in mind. Also on the packaging, Beadalon does a great job of making sure that we know when we are buying the diameter of the wire, what findings are going to fit with it. It's all on the packaging for you. So should you be buying these individually, if you find yourself running out from this bundle and you want to buy some wire, you can also see that, like, depending on what the diameter is, it's going to tell you this wire in particularly is good for your number 1 crimp beads or your number 2 crimp tubes. And all of that information is right here on the package. So you don't have to guess, right? You don't have to take any chances, which is fantastic. So I hope that helped. I really, really hope that that is helpful when it comes to deciding which ones you need for your project. And it really is project specific, right? It's not, oh, well, I've been doing this forever, all I use is 49 strand. That's not necessarily true, because I've been doing this forever and I grab my 7 strand for a lot of things depending on what the project is. So that's what is really going to come into play here. It's not about one being better than the other. It is just project specific. Okay, so now we are going to take care of our ends here. So I'm going to open up my little Findings variety pack and I'm going to grab 2 jump rings. So there's a jump ring. Well, obviously there's more than 1 jump ring, but I'm grabbing a couple of jump rings here. And I'm going to grab a crimp tube. Now, one of the things that is not included in the Findings Variety Pack is crimps. So you are going to have to do a little shopping. That's why I say I didn't cover all of the bases here necessarily, but I tried my best. However, if you're looking for some crimps that are in the antique brass color, we have some on the website. They're in the show, so you can click on them to grab some of these. These are my very favorite antique brass crimp tubes in the history of ever. I've tried everybody's, but Art Beads is by far the best little crimp tubes in this color. I don't know what it is, but sometimes the antique brass color crimp tubes tend to be really flimsy. These are not. These are really sturdy and strong. Okay, so we are going to take our crimp. We are going to thread that onto the end of our bead stringing wire. And then we are going to take our bead stringing wire and we are going to loop it over our jump ring. So we're going to take the wire and go back down through our crimp. Okay, so even though we don't have beads coming all the way up to this, it doesn't matter. You're still going to treat your crimp and your crimping process exactly the same as you would if the beads were coming all the way up to the end here. So you can see I made a little loop with my wire around my jump ring. And now I am making sure that those wires are not crisscrossing inside my crimp tube. They are running parallel inside there. Now I'm going to bring in my standard. That's the cutter. Don't do it with that. I'm going to bring in my standard crimper tool. I'm going to place this crimp into the back notch of the crimper tool. It's the one that looks like a set of lips. It's got that little tooth that's going to come down. Okay, so I'm going to place that into the back notch here, separating those wires out. Okay, and then I'm going to squeeze. And as I squeeze, you can see that tooth comes down and it further separates those wires out so they are not touching inside that crimp. That is really important because that nylon cutting, y'all, I need to take a nap. It's pretty bad. I should not do lives while I'm sick, particularly on Friday afternoons when my brain's already gone on vacation anyway for the weekend, but Bear with me. So you want to be sure that those wires are not touching so that that nylon coating that's holding all those little tiny microscopic wires together is not rubbing up against, they're not rubbing up against each other. They're not creating abrasion, because that abrasion over time wears away that nylon coating and then the wire starts to fray. So if you crimp properly and you separate those wires within the crimp tube and they're not touching each other, you don't have to worry about that, right? Both wires are protected. That's what your crimp tool does, is it finishes the end while also protecting those wires. All right, we're going to turn that sideways and we are going to put that, you can even see how it bit down and created that little groove, like it's totally separated those wires. Turn that sideways, put that into the front notch of your crimper tool, and then give that a squeeze. It's just going to make it more compact and smaller. At this point, you can put a crimp cover over it if you want to. If not, come in with your cutter tool and trim off the excess. My phone is going off like crazy. Wait. So, sorry. I saw Sandy's question. Hold on, Sandy. I got you. I'm trying to keep up with everything all at once. Okay. I'm trying to be in teacher mode and to read the comments. And you guys know I'm not very good at keeping up with the comments, but so there's my end. So the beads, Sandy, that I used in this little pretty little necklace were from this designer blend right here. This little treasure designer blend. So pretty. This one's in the show. And then I had two others as well that I think are going to match the bead string and wire really beautifully. I have this one, and then I had this one. So I had 3 different ones to choose from. And at any point during the show, guys, you can click on that shopping bag and it's going to bring up everything in the show. So even if I'm not talking about the bead mix anymore, you can still see it. It's part of the show there. You can add it to your cart. You can check out, all while still watching the show. Okay, so now we're going to finish off the other side of this, but first I'm going to, I didn't grab a clasp. I should have. I'm going to grab a clasp from my little Findings variety pack here to go with that. I'm going to open up my jump ring. So I'm going to hold that jump ring between 2 pairs of pliers, hold one still, and use the other to twist to open the jump ring. I'm going to thread on my clasp, and then same thing, hold between 2 pairs of pliers, hold one steady and move the other. Make sure you get a really good closure on that. You don't want anything to open up on you. You don't want your bead string and wire to slip through any of your cracks. So make sure you get a good closure there. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to grab my crimp that I thought I lost, thread that onto the end of my bead stringing wire, and then I am going to loop that around my jump ring and back down through my crimp. Scoot all that up so that I can make my loop a little bit smaller. So a couple things when you are doing your stringing here that you want to be careful of. So first thing, obviously, as I mentioned, you don't want those wires to be crisscrossing, but another thing you don't want to do is, other than crossing those wires, you don't want to make your loop so small that your crimp bead is sitting right up on the jump ring. You need a little bit of wiggle room here. Just a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot, but don't tighten the loop down so that your crimp and your jump ring are touching each other. Okay, let there be a little wiggle there. Again, taking that crimp bead, placing that into the back notch of the crimper tool, you're going to give that a squeeze, separate out those wires. As you can see, you're going to turn that sideways, put it into the front notch of the crimper tool and give that a squeeze to tidy it up. Come in with your cutter and trim off. All right, so now, have I missed any more questions, you guys? Eric, I wasn't fussing at you. Did I miss your question? What was it? I'm so sorry. Get in line, Eric. There's lots of people who need to talk to me. I'm just kidding. That's not true. All right. And that's it. Look, we have a beautiful necklace where the bead string and wire is part of the design because it is the most beautiful mocha moussey yummy color to go with this, right? And it's simple. We can string this up really quickly, layer this with some of your other pieces. If you wanted to keep those beads nice and still, put some crimps down here. You can use your crimps anywhere you want to, right? Or we could have filled the entire thing up. But the point of this is that when you have the most beautiful beads ever, that there's no reason why every now and then you can't expose this gorgeous wire, particularly when it is in such a beautiful color. So you have options. You have options for letting that wire shine in your designs. I think it would be really pretty to do this with some of these beads too. But look how pretty. It's just kind of a warm, moussey brown color that's going to work with a lot of things because brown is a neutral, right? It's going to be great. All right, so let's see. Just scrolling through here, make sure I didn't miss anything else. Yeah, I was using the 19 strand for this project. However, if I wanted even more drape, I could have used the 49. If I wanted this to be nice and sturdy and like almost like using like artistic wire, I could have used the 7 strand, and that curve would stay nice and curved, and it would all be very structured. Take some of the 7 strand off so you can kind of see what I mean, because there's definitely a difference. And the 49 strand, by the way, the 49 strand can be knotted. So if you like to do knotting, macrame, you can use it for that. But this is the 7. Maybe you can't really tell too much, but it does have a little bit more structure to it than the other 2 wires. It's great for making like bracelets that are going to retain that round shape. You know what I mean? They're not going to get crazy. It's like you can make a bangle bracelet without it being stiff. I really like that. And like I said, for making earrings, like little teardrops, this is great. This is the perfect wire for that. So whether you're going to have it exposed or not, look at the mess I just made. Let me just make a huge mess here. You know. All right, guys. So do we have any other, because I don't really have anything else planned. I think we talked about everything, but if you've got any other questions here about the things that I've got here in the show or about crimping or stringing, now is a great opportunity to let me know what those are. Otherwise, I think we're just going to kind of wrap up here. I will put this on the neck here in a second when I turn it around so that you can see. Robin says, have I ever knotted the 49 strand? I have. I have used it to create some really cool bracelets. You can use it for macrame, and it looks amazing. This beautiful color would be really yummy with some of these beads, like some square knots knotted around. Be really, really pretty. I like it because when you knot with it, then when you're done with it, you can crimp it. I think that makes it even cooler to knot with. So love that idea. Are the wires copper or brass? So that's also a really good question. So these wires, of course, are stainless steel, but I think you're referring to the artistic wire here, and these are copper core wires. So they're artistic wires, so they're dead soft, but they're not as soft as, say, aluminum wire. So it does have a little bit more structure than the aluminum wire, but these are great for creating wrapped loops, simple loops, making little components. I use it to make ear wires, lots of fun things like that. I'm so glad you got to hang out with us today, Meredith, too. Is there anything I'm leaving out that I should tell everybody about the bead string and wire or the artistic wire that you can think of? So guys, don't forget we had these in bundles today. So the wire bundle was both the 20 and the 22 gauge artistic wire and the 7, 19 and 49 strand of the bead string wire. So it's all 5 of the wires together, so you can create all kinds of cool designs with all of this wire, and you're not going to need to stock up for a while. Now, if you do need to stock up though on findings, I have the findings packs in the antique brass, the silver, the hematite color, and the rose gold, this was another little bundle. So you don't have to buy these individually. You can get all 4 of them. You've got a ton of jump rings and clasps here to work with, and you'd be set for a while. And then the tools, of course. Let me use this opportunity to clean up my tools while we are talking here. So we had the Mighty Crimper tool, the Micro, the Standard, and you can see it just slides it right back in there, and then the cutter tool that you can use. And they all come on the little board here, so it's super handy. You just grab for it, and you've got all of them that you need. All right, friends, I'm going to turn you around. I know the show is a little short today, but I am a bit under the weather. So I am kind of looking forward to going and taking some cold medicine, a hot toddy, and find my way to the couch. But I did want to show you what this looks like, because it looks so pretty, and it's just simple, right? It's just simple. Sometimes just simple is all you need. So yeah, super cute little design where that bead string and wire is part of it, and you can just show off a handful of your favorite beads, right? And then you still have a lot of other beads to work with. You can make some little earrings with the artistic wire, and you'd be good to go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. I appreciate and love all of you. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Guys, don't forget to take advantage of that 20% off that is going on through Monday. So we are celebrating Cinco de Mayo, 20% off site-wide. That includes more than just what you saw in the show today. It is everything on the website. So get it while the getting's good. I always say that, but definitely want to take advantage, particularly with the designer blends, because they sell out pretty quickly. So don't want to miss out on those. You definitely want to close out your cart so you don't miss out. All right, friends, I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to take a nap. I love you so much. Somebody go drink a margarita for me, because I just don't have it in me this afternoon. All right. I love you. I'll be back with you guys next week with another fun project. Be sure that you are signing up for the newsletter to stay in the know, and that you are setting your reminders for all of the other amazing designers that are here on artbeads.com. All right. I'll see you again.